Hi, it's Dr. O and welcome back to part 3 of this amazing intro series on wealth and wealth vehicles. And this is about career choice, maybe business choice and growth. And I say maybe because when we did our survey, actually, one of the things that came back was people's choice of career and their direction. Now, you may be watching this and thinking, well, I've got my own business, or I'm looking to start a business. You may be coming through legacy education, looking to trade or get involved in property. So why would you want to focus on your career? So maybe make it broader and think about your business as well. And I'm going to go through 4 elements here. And I need to be clear on something as I ask this question. Do you, as an individual, and this is my first question, do you have a job mindset or a business mindset? Now that's an important question because you may be watching this right now and actually your primary focus is that you love your job, you love your career, and you actually want to pursue that career. I mean, I get people who are doctors, who are lawyers, who are specialists in certain areas, and actually even when they come through our legacy education series, property, they actually want to stay in their career. The challenge they've got is if they're building a property business parallel to that, what choices do they have in their career? So I say to people, first of all, are you a career person? And if they say, I honestly want to stay in my career for a while, I say, that's great, that's fine. But we need to be clear on that because there's a big distinction. Now, if you're not a career person and you're a business-minded person, then, oh my gosh, if you're stuck in a job right now, that must be very frustrating because the longer you're in the job, the stronger you have a sense of, I want to get out, I want to do something different, I want to break out and be financially independent or build a great business. But you remember, you can't do that straight away. When I teach this from a property perspective, and I know legacy education have the same philosophy, we want to build that business alongside what you're doing. So if you're a business-minded person, here's my suggestion to you. First of all, be comfortable with building the business parallel to your career until such time that, and don't jump too early, because I get people say, Dr. Rowe, brilliant 3 days on property, I'm going to give up my job tomorrow. And they seriously mean this. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm going to give up my job Monday morning. Why? Because I'm going to build this property business, I'm going to be really successful. Yeah, I know you're going to do that, but it took me a year to a year and a half to really go through that process. Most people we teach is a couple of years to get to that financial security place. So giving up your job on a Monday morning straight after a 3-day seminar is probably not the best direction to go. So you've really got to decide, first of all, are you business-minded or are you job-minded? If you're career-minded, then it's important to make a decision. Is it a career for the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? And are you prepared to build that career without any sense of security parallel to you? I would suggest you shouldn't. I think you should have a security alongside, in which case what you've got to do is surround yourself with some people who can help you build a business that's more hands-off. And that's important because you may be very busy and you may be watching this right now and thinking, oh, you don't understand, I do 70 hours a week. That's great, but there are business models out there. I mean, there are property businesses that you can build, get a little bit of education with legacy, have the right people in place, and just put in place passive income properties until you get to a point where you've got that coming in. So that's step 1. Decide on, are you business-minded, job-minded, or a mixture of both? That comes to step 2, and that is about understanding who you are. What are your values? I talked about this before, and so write this down. Let's talk about values for a minute. How do you want to show up in your job, okay, in your career? Biggest challenge I get, and I don't mind sharing this with you, when I was an engineer, as I started to get more and more involved in my career, I realized that my values weren't aligned with those of the company. Whether you're the 2 lovely people filming me here who are loving what they're doing and they're aligned with what they're doing here, which is great, or whether you're somebody in a job where you're doing the job for paying the bills versus doing the job because you have a passion for changing the world. Now, what the heck am I talking about? Look, paying the bills is called a value of survival. You value survival. You value paying the bills. That is not paying the bills for contributing, that's not a values alignment for contributing to the world. Somebody that has a great value for health, for example, would not be working for a company that, for example, slaughters animals or, for the sake of argument, sells very heavy sugary-based foods and food that we know is not good for the body. Which is when I meet people that are feeling frustrated in their job, it's not because they hate the job, it's because their core values are not aligned with the job that they're doing. So you've got to stop and ask yourself the question, and I actually have to do this sometimes within companies. I say, right, what are the I've actually done interventional work inside companies where I've said to the owners of the company, well, if you bring me in to do this, you may well lose staff. What do you mean? Well, because you want people that are passionate about working for the company. What if you've got 4 or 5 people in the company that their values don't align with the company values, and they're not functional, and they're not productive, they're not happy, you're not happy, let's get them to pass on to another place where they love what they're doing, and you get somebody into your company who is aligned with your values, you're going to get much more productivity. So if you're on a career path, you've got to find out, first of all, are your values aligned with the values of the company? If they are, brilliant. If they're not, quite frankly, thank you very much. I'm handing in my notice, go find another job. Yeah, but what does that mean? Well, what it means is you're going to find a job that you're more excited about. You're going to climb the career path even better. You're going to pursue your passions and your purpose in a completely different way. Something woke you up to put you onto this program with me. Something brought you to my doorstep, and I believe it's to do with your values alignment. So you've got to find out, does your business align with who you are, and does your career align with who you are? Which leaves you to the next one. And this is this, watch. It's called timeline. So there's a whole process you can do, and you might try this now. You can close your eyes if you want while you're listening to my voice just for the last minute or two of this video. Picture the future. Go out a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Truthfully, I've done this with people, and it's an unbelievable exercise. And I usually do this in a closed-eye process. And I want you to picture being in the job you're in 2 years' time. How's it going to look? How's it going to feel? How much money are you going to be earning? Are you going to be doing the same thing or something different? Go out 5 years. How do you picture yourself now? Is there anyone in your job right now that you would like to be in their position in 5 years' time? And is there even a possibility you can do that? Or is it you're in dead man's shoes, and until they or disappear, you can step into them? Because quite frankly, if you're on a path that you can't imagine yourself being there and thriving, expanding and being on purpose in that career or that business in 5 years' time, you need to be thinking about changing direction sooner than later. Take the best you can out of the business, give yourself to the job, but know that it's part of a bigger purpose as well. Hopefully that makes sense. And the fourth thing here to wrap this up is your gut instinct. I have a process that we take people through called EMT. It's called Elite Mind Technology, and it's a lot deeper, and I'm sure you'll discover that further along the journey. But part of it is understanding that when we talk about something we're passionate about, our unconscious reveals the truth, and I call it your intuition, your gut, about what you feel about that subject. But every human being, if they're really calm and connected and just take a deep breath, and you really truthfully put your hand on your heart and think about that which you're about to embark on or do or connect with, or person you want to date, or whatever it is, in this case we're talking about your journey and success, if it doesn't feel right, you've got to pause. Every decision I've ever made that's gone against my gut, afterwards I've gone, oh, you know what, I should have just followed my gut instinct. So if you're on a career path and it doesn't feel right, I can guarantee it's because you're not aligned with your values, in which case plug into the system. Take the time to allow me to coach you through this through our video series, and I promise you when you come out the back end of it, you'll be much clearer. It may mean a change of direction, or it may mean you go back into the company and say, look, I really want to stay here, but you need to put me into a different part of the business because I'm not aligned where I am working at the moment. So hopefully that makes sense, and I'm going to sign off now so I can take you to the next part, and it's the final part of this amazing journey we're calling the Wealth Vehicle.